Good morning. Is it loud enough?
Good morning.
How are you guys? My favorite bloke from Oz is there. How you doing? All right. Good to see you guys. My name is Ric Viers, and I am the world's largest producer of sound effects. So I've created sound effect libraries over the last 15 years. I've got, I think it's close to 700 products now that I've worked on. And today, I'm going to show you guys some of the tips and tricks that I use to make sound effects, specifically using Sony's products. I've been using Sony stuff actually since I got started. So I've mastered well over 1 million, if not millions, of sound effects, and every single one of them I've mastered in SoundForge. And I use Acid, which is a music loop-based program. Guys use that to create, really cool music beds. I don't use it to create music. I use it to create sound effects. So I can loop, stretch, pitch shift, layer, all those kinds of goodies. I can do all of that inside of Acid. And of course I use Vegas as well to create not only the videos to demo our products, but also I use it in much of the way that most guys would use a standard multi-track digital audio workstation as well. So tell you a bit about myself. I'm the author of the Sound Effects Bible, as well as the Location Sound Bible, which are available at the NAB bookstore. And I own Blastwave Effects, which is my logo here. This is Sonopedia 3.0, which is our newest product. We just launched it on Monday. It's got over 40,000 high-definition sound effects, and every single one of those sound effects we've mastered and created inside of Sony's software. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of them today. I own the Detroit Chop Shop, which is my studio, and that's over here. I get tattoos so that I don't have to use PowerPoint. I can just do one of these things. And I'm from Detroit, which is over here. See how that works? But at my studio, we run internship programs, and I pride myself as having the coolest internship programs on the planet, because I get these kids, man, and I show them how to rock and roll, how to go out there and do it start to finish to make a project. So when you come in to intern for me, you're not getting my laundry, and you're not getting me a cup of coffee, because God gave me 2 hands to go get my own coffee, right? You come into my studio, I show you the ropes from the beginning to the end. This is how we make a sound effects project. These are how these are the mics that we use. This is the recording process we go through. I bring them in, we show them how to do all of the editing, all of the mastering. And what's wonderful about Sony's products is that I don't care what product you're using or what software you're using, you can be up and running with any of their products within a matter of minutes. I mean, I've got video editors, they come in and they're Final Cut guys or they're Avid guys or whatever, and I'm like, well, we cut everything in Vegas. Well, I don't know if hang on a second. We sit them down, 15 minutes later, they're like, all right, I get it, and they're pushing me away, and then they're going to town. So the ease and the functionality of the software is just off the hook. So at any rate, so I think I've learned it. I've showed you all my tattoos. Wonderful. So the Detroit Chop Shop internship programs that we run, we actually document. So we have a video producer that actually goes around and takes footage of us as we go about our process of making the sound effect libraries, and then we put together weekly videos. So I'm going to show you guys. We're coming up on season 5, but season 4 we made a superheroes library called Heroes and Villains. Get a good look, because somebody's going to be walking away with this today. Not because I want to give it away, just because I don't want to fly home with it. So I'm going to be giving away a copy of Heroes and Villains, 1,000 sound effects to save the world or destroy it. So you can do the hero side or the villain side. Lots of goodies there. And we're also going to give, being me and my ego, are also going to be giving away a copy of the Zombie Apocalypse sound effects library that we created last year. And this has 666 sounds to kill for. So everything that you would hear, we've already heard this stuff in Walking Dead. There's all the little mobile apps, the little zombie games. We hear our screams and the zombie growls and lots of blood stuff in there. And I'll be showing you guys some of that stuff as well. So every year, the Chop Shop internship programs, the kids take it up a notch, and they take it up a notch. And so this year, this is the trailer that we put together for the Heroes and Villains sound effects library. We got good volume? Need to go up here. Let's go up with the volume. Feel free to not hold your applause. Thank you. So that's what we did. We set out, and there's the library itself. We went out, gallivanted around the streets of Detroit, and we gathered all of the source material that we needed to create the 1,000 sound effects that we have in the product. We did everything from recording guns and explosions, and when I say explosions, I mean we actually brought in a pyro guy. We dropped cars from cranes. We, shot guns and all sorts of goodies. Visited robot factories to get the servo motor sounds to create the library. So I'm going to show you one other video before we get into the sound effects themselves. This is going to be the making of the Heroes and Villains library. So you're going to actually see the interns in the interviews and talk about the process of how we went about making the Heroes and Villains sound effects library. We were looking for another sound effects library to produce, and we wanted to do something that was big and epic, over the top, and also filled a big hole in the sound effect library world.
Ric envisioned this library to be the go-to sound effects library for anyone involved with doing heroes and villain-related material.
The vision for the library was really simple. It was cover all the bases.
Ric was kind of torn about which direction to take this. You could either take it the more serious sci-fi route or the really old campy cartoon style.
I don't think there's a whole lot of gray area. It's usually one or the other. We wanted to kind of represent both of those worlds in this library.
In the end, I think we got a good mix of both.
We did more research on this project than we've done for any other project that we've produced here at the Chop Shop.
We did quite a bit of research.
Everything that you would need to just kind of build a really cool, tight little package of superhero sounds.
A lot of the research we did was in comic books, things that don't make noise themselves. In comic books, there are a lot of sound effects written out. So even before superheroes were really brought into the medium of television or film, people had sounds in mind, and people felt that sounds were important to the superhero experience.
We then started to move into other media. We played video games, watched movies, a lot of animated films, as well as live action.
We had to immerse ourselves in the superhero villain universe to know what kind of sounds they make.
In this library, you can find things from Foley punches,
Cape movements,
ambiances,
Sounds of superpowers.
Lots of weapons.
We did a lot of field recording at various places like junkyards.
We blew up a bunch of stuff. We shot a bunch of stuff. We did our best to record anything we could get a hold of.
Ric Viers has made more sound effects than anyone else on the planet. He is the largest producer of high-definition sound effects ever.
He's been doing sound effects for a good number of years now, and his libraries have been used in everything from blockbuster films to Jane and Joey's home video.
I make noise.
Over the course of this season of the Detroit Chop Shop, we've got to work with some of the most talented people in the industry. We had a poster for the library designed by Matt and Lindsay Bush, two of the most talented artists I've ever seen.
They directed our photo shoot and later turned that into the poster that you see now.
They immortalized us as superheroes, and they created the face of the library and what people will associate superheroes and villains to be.
We brought in the super talented musician Jeff Rabrovich to work on some of the more synthetic sounds of the library.
Jeff Rabrovich is a friend of Ric and an analog gear nut. He brought in all of his fancy analog synthesizers and gave us a lot of stuff to work with and change into source material for the library.
So Ric can take those source materials, combine them possibly with organic sounds or other synthetic sounds that Jeff has created to create a whole amazing array of sounds that don't necessarily have objects tied to them. It's up to you to decide that this is the sound that's perfect for the object and whatever you're creating.
We brought in Aaron G to provide some vocal talent for the library. Aaron G. is an all-star vocal performer and musician.
Doing voiceover work with Aaron G. is always a pleasure. He's an entertaining guy and extremely talented at what he does. You name a voice, he's gonna nail it.
Ray Brockett is a professional pyrotechnician. He's worked with all kinds of famous musicians over the course of his career.
He had worked with Kiss, who I love and we all know Rick loves.
He is an expert in making things go boom.
He really helped us on getting one of the biggest key elements you would need for superhero and villains: explosions.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks, baby.
A lot of heart and souls were poured in to this library.
Working on a professional sound effects library kind of leaves me speechless.
I really think that we've put our entire beings into this thing, and it is the best that it can be.
When I know that this library is something that's gonna stand the test of time and be around for many years, it gives me a sense of legacy.
I think in years to come, it'll be something that I was very, very proud to work on.
I look forward to the day where I'm watching a new superhero movie and I can go, hey, I made that noise.
I wanted to be certain to give the best I can to make this library as great as it can be.
I'm glad I got to work with Season 4 to produce this library.
You know, this library is something I'm really proud to have been able to say that I worked on.
We've put in a lot of hard work and had a lot of fun in this library, and I think it has come through that way.
I'm not gonna lie, it was a little overwhelming at times. But with Rick there guiding me and all the other interns every step of the way, we all pulled through and created the superhero and villain sound effects library.
1,000 HD sound effects to save the world or destroy it. All right, and the crowd goes wild. There you go. So I want you guys to know that you guys are safe. We're going to take care with the Heroes and Villains Library. We're going to save the world with these sound effects. So we're going to give away a copy of the library. One of the things that we love to do every year is the sound effects game. And how many people have done it the year before? Years before? Come on, you guys are faking it. We're going to play some sound effects for you guys, and we're going to see who can guess what the sound effect is. The guess will earn you, the first guess is going to get a copy of the Heroes and Villains Sound Effects Library. You guys ready? All right, I'll get you guys warmed up with something here. Oh, this one's an easy one. Okay, this is probably the most recognized sound effect of all, of anything that's ever been recorded before. It's an insider joke, so you sound designers might have a leg up on this. But this sound effect has probably been used in more movies, video games, television shows than any other sound effect in the world. You guys hooked? You guys ready? All right, let's see if you can name it. You got to raise your hand. Let's see if you can name it. All right, who is it? First one. The Wilhelm scream. Anybody else get that? Anybody else know that? Yep, that Wilhelm scream. Here you go, buddy. There you are. The Wilhelm scream actually was first made famous. It was actually a sound effect of a guy getting eaten by an alligator in the movie Distant Drums from like the 1950s. And legendary sound designer Ben Burtt, he used that in the movie Star Wars when Luke and Leia are getting ready to swing across the chasm in the Death Star, and you see one of the stormtroopers fall as he's falling. And then that ended up getting repeated in all 6 of the Star Wars films, as well as Raiders of the Lost Ark, all of the Indiana Jones films. It's been used in everything. So I'm a sound guy. I make sound effects. That's my gag. So I've got this as my ringtone for texts. So if it's really late at night and I'm kind of half awake and drifting off to sleep, and then somebody texts me, it's like it scares the mess out of you. But what's funny is we'll watch shows, you know, movies, TV shows. I didn't sign a release for that, sir. You know, we will be watching TV shows, and I'm like, you know what? One of these days, I'm going to be watching a show, and my phone will go off at the exact same time as it does, you know. So every time we're watching a show and I hear the sound effect, I keep thinking somebody's calling me. And it finally happened. After all these years, about a month ago, I was doing a mix on a project that had the Wilhelm scream in it. Sure enough, we're watching the timeline, waiting for it to hit, and as it hit, my phone goes off. And I was like, that's it, that's the moment, I have arrived. We're gonna give away a copy of the Zombie Apocalypse sound effects library here in just a minute. I'm gonna show you some of the sounds that we've created in that library. And let me close this. And I'll show you the process that I use in Acid specifically. So let's start with something simple. This is an airlock medical facility a door closing. So it's basically a spaceship door. Okay, you guys got to play one more time. And now I'm going to show you how I create that sound. So I'm going to open up Acid. Acid's a really cool program. You bring in tracks and you just drag them like that. From there you can loop and layer if I want this one set to straight. If I go to, let's see here, one shot. If I set it to loop, then I can just sit there and continuously loop it. So it gets to the end of it and it'll loop forever. And I'll show you guys that function here in a few minutes. Another cool thing that I can do, I can get to it, is I can pitch it up or down. So let's play the sound by itself. This is just one of the elements. Well, by just simply clicking on it and using the minus and plus keys, I can go down with it. Let me drag it out here so I got something to play with. All right, so I can go crazy with it. So now I'm down 2 octaves. Let me solo it. Okay, and if I wanted to, I can actually go down as much as 4 octaves on it. And that's just a little can of air. Now you get, actually, I've never done this before, so just humor me for a minute. This is how my mind works. So I hear that. I don't know if this is going to work, so humor me, but that's a pretty cool sound, right? Now let's go back to the original sound, which was this. Oh, hang on, just a moment.
Nice.
Didn't sign a release for that. All right, so here's the original sound. For kicks and grins, let me do this. I'll go to this guy. All right, now let's drag it down. All right, so we've got a reference. So this is our original one. Pretty cool sound. So now this is it going down 4 octaves. It's a pretty unique sound. So here's what I can do. I can shake it and I can chop it up. I like this sound right here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that. I'm going to loop it. But instead of looping it, I'm going to actually crossfade it. So I'm technically looping it, but I'm crossfading each loop. If you guys follow me on that. All right. Now, if I wanted to, I can set it to grid mode, which it's in now. So you can see the little lines. It'll snap to the grid. If I wanted to be more precise, I can take that off and slide it wherever I want. But for this, I'm going to just keep it at the grid mode. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy it a bunch of times. I think we're going to end up with something cool here. Let's see. All right, so what do we got? All right, that's pretty neat. Now, if I wanted to, I can duplicate that. And then maybe I got this one above it a little higher. And let's offset it a little bit. So now let's hear what we got. Now, that's pretty cool. And I can continue to do this process. And I've done this. I'll take a single sound and I'll have 6 up to 12 tracks of the same thing at different pitches. And you can come up with some pretty unique take that, you bathe it in reverb. If I wanted to, I could even play some of these backwards, and I'll pull these down here real quick. So if I wanted to, I can reverse these guys, right? So now let's just solo those guys for a second. I like that. So let's do this. I'm going to delete these guys. I'm going to drill into this guy for a while. I like that. All right, so now I'll take that, tighten it up a bit, and then from there, I'll just duplicate it a bunch of times. All right, so here's what we got. Now, if I wanted to, I'm just having fun, so excuse me. I'm just going to play around with the reverb here. Give me something. There we go. So let's go with a cathedral and hear what we got. So I've got the reverb set to the first bus, bus A, and I go over here, you can see the reverb in. Am I blowing you guys' ears out there? So I've got a little bit of reverb. Now if I wanted to, I could apply the reverb to just that track individually. I could send it to a bus and then send all of the elements that I want to go through the reverb to that bus. Does everybody follow me? So right now I've got the reverb is on bus A, and I got this guy sent to bus A, and I can set up any kind of mix I want. So if I wanted to have only that sound going to the reverb, or if I wanted to have all of these guys going to it. And now we'll take it and see what we got. And let's watch our volume. Let me know if I'm blowing you guys out here. So now we got something kind of spooky and ethereal. And if I wanted to, I could take that, and I might do it just for kicks and grins. And let's render it out. I don't know, fun stuff. We'll throw it on the desktop, 2496, we're gold. All right, so now let's open up SoundForge. And let's bring that guy in there. All right, so we're a little down. Let me bring down my volume. All right. All right, so this is the whole track. This is what we were just playing with, so I'm going to crop this. Now, if I wanted to get crazy from there, I can pitch it down even further. Now we can really play with it. Kind of cool, kind of spooky, kind of like a spaceship drone or something weird like that. So again, this is just taking a really simple sample, which was this guy right here. Something, just a little psst, can of air, and you can take it and you can loop it, you can layer it, and you can make all sorts of stuff. Now, again, that was just a simple sound. Let's go out for 3 months and let's record servo motors and let's record, you know, explosions and gunshots, and we create all of, or we gather all of these elements, and now I've got a palette of things that I can use to flavor and season. It's kind of like cooking, which is one of the reasons why we call ourselves the Chop Shop. Instead of chopping up steaks, we're chopping up, you know, sound effects. And we gather all of these elements, drag them on the timeline, and then it's just a matter of playing around until we get exactly what we're looking for. And in this case, and I'm going to open this back up. And in this case, we've got our spaceship door. And if I just kind of go down the timeline, there's some sunroofs from a car. Some of them are reversed and some of them are looped. And then we've got everything from little pneumatic air releases. That's air being released from a semi-truck tire. So I take all of these elements that don't belong together whatsoever, but if you play around with them, you adjust the timing and you adjust the pitches, you get something that seems a little bit more believable. Another step in the process of making sound effects is we go out and we gather stuff specifically to make it sound like something. So for example, we're going to rip somebody's fingernail off here. Imagine you're on The Sopranos, right? And they got you tied down to the chair. Tony Two Knuckles comes over and he's going to rip off your fingernail. Everybody's got that visual, right? Now imagine it's your fingernail. You're not watching it. You're in the chair, guys. This is you, right? So here we go. The first one, that's when they get the nail to lift up. The second one, that's when the nail actually comes off. So here we ready? Now, we wanted elements like this. This was used in the Zombie Apocalypse library. So obviously, I've got enough interns. I had 6 interns. Now, let's do some quick math. 6 interns. Each one of them's got 10 fingers. I had 60 different sources for that sound effect. But obviously, we didn't do that for legal reasons. But we knew we wanted that sound effect. Where do we go? Anybody want to take a wild guess what we go to for for all the guts and fleshy sounds? Any guesses? Nobody's going to guess? Take a wild guess. What's that? Very good. She got it right. Fruits and vegetables. And in this case, I mean, we should make this the guess for the copy of the Zombie sound effects library. Anybody want to take a guess? A banana snapping. No, believe it or not, bananas are extremely quiet. They get stage fright. They're so mushy, and it's just some fruit and some vegetables, you get incredible sounds. Other stuff, you just got to fake it because it's just not doing what you want. But go ahead. Snapping a celery. No. Sorry. I wanted you to win. A what? Asparagus? No. A carrot. No. Carrots are also very quiet, believe it or not. They get that one little click sound, and that's all you get. But this one's... A what? A nut? It does sound like a nut. But it's not. I promise. Any other guesses? An apple. No, but you can get that. We do have some of them for some of the flesh bites because we do, we're doing a zombie library, so obviously zombies are going to be eating people. And so we one of the interns was hungry, and so we had like watermelon. So this guy not only ate the watermelon, which was kind of good, it was more juicy and kind of bloody kind of sounding, but this joker actually went into the rind and was just ripping off the rinds. And he did apples were one of the things that he kind of get into. So when you're watching The Walking Dead and somebody's getting it in the neck, in reality, that's probably what they're doing is they're taking vegetables and mangling them or biting into fruit. Any last guess, or we'll move on to something else? No winners? All right, that's a green pepper. Those guys make some really nice crunching kinds of sounds. Let's go to one more here. This one's kind of an easy one. That's too easy. I gotta make you guys work for it. Here we go. Here's some. I think this is the watermelon stuff. You can just hear them just. But see, here's the thing. This is what's great about sound is that if I just played that sound to you and said, "Hey, this is my buddy eating watermelon," you wouldn't have thought anything of it. I said, "Hey, this is a zombie eating somebody," and this guy's like totally grossed out back there. It's okay, it wasn't real, I promise. Okay. All right, let me show you one more, and then we'll do, actually, you know what? We'll do this one. Let me boost it up here for you. I may have done this one last year, so if you remember it, don't guess. Okay, this is a fluorescent light flickering. Now, this is a zombie apocalypse, so there's power outages going out. You're in a basement somewhere, and it's kind of creepy. And anybody want to guess how I made that one? A what? An inscriber. No. A what now? Tattoo machine. No, but that's a solid guess, actually. This is one of the tricks to sound design. Everybody that's guessing, your guesses are all solid guesses, and the reality is, yes, we could have used those things. In this case, you can hear flickering too. You guys aren't going to believe it, right? You ready? Watermelon. Who doesn't believe me? Nobody? All right, here we go. I'll see if I can recreate it. Let me go back to what I just had. I think I had some of my recents here. All right, so this is what I did. I went in. I'll just grab something, anything, doesn't matter really. Let me grab something bigger. And I just took a sample of it. I took that little sample, and I just looped it a gazillion times. And then I pitch shifted it up or down until I got that tone that I wanted. And then I just intermittently went in and just put little tiny spaces for the flicker, so it would go on and off and on and off. And so by doing that, what you end up with is this. And in some cases, I'll actually have two of them going, and I'll change the pitch of one of them just a little bit, just so they're kind of slightly going in and out together. But these are the kind of tricks that you can do, obviously, with Sony software to create the absolute perfect sound effect. All right, I got to get out of here, kids. I got things to do, and I'm sure you guys do as well, but I got to give away a copy of this. So let me see if I can pull up something for you guys to guess on. Oh, I've already did that one. All right, I'm out of files. What city, you guys ready? Am I from? First hand. You got to raise your hand. Yes, sir. Detroit. All right, let's give it up to him. There you go, brother. Cheers. All right, well, that's it. I appreciate you guys coming out. And I'm sure they got demo stations over there of all the products. You guys can check it out and see what these products can do for you guys. So thanks a lot.